All right, well today we are comparing two LX Lexus models, an LX570 and an LX470. So if you're in the market for this, chances are you're looking at one of the later models 470s, so like an 06, 07 that has the 275 horsepower. If you go 2005 and older, let's say to 2003, you're looking at 235 horsepower, where it doesn't have the VVTi or the LED lights. Now, in all fairness, this LX470 here does have some 2014 wheels on it, which actually updates it a bit, makes it look really nice. That's off a 2014 Lexus, so keeping it within the Lexus family. But in the marketplace right now, these are not too far off on price. This is a 2006 LX470, and that's a 2008 LX570. Probably just a couple thousand that separates these two. Now, one of the biggest factors is obviously design, how it looks, but for function, if you're going to tow with this, one thing you want to consider is immediately the 470, its tow rating is 6,500. The tow rating for the 570 used to be 8,000. It got dialed back to 7,000. There's only, manufacturer recommended, a 500-pound difference between these two, even though the LX570 has just over 100 more horsepower and 70 more torque. Explain that more in a bit. The reason being is the automatic height control on these cars. That is your limiter, because the automatic height control goes into a safety mode if you're towing too much, and it will automatically lower. This is to the demise of a lot of people that purchase these trucks and they're going to tow. So if you're towing a lot, you might want to consider this, or if you're towing more than 7,000 pounds, you want to consider that out there. That's a Landcruiser 2008. The reason why the Landcruiser can tow more, it actually is rated for 8,500 pounds. That's 1,500 more pounds than this truck. And you're probably asking yourself, well, why the hell is that? Well, because that suspension is fixed on the Landcruiser. This has the automatic height control. So when these first came out, it was rated for 8,000, and then in 2011, they dialed it back to 7,000. So towing a lot, get a Landcruiser 200 series, so 2008 and up. And if you're not towing and don't care, well, then either one of these. Two beautiful specimens. And if you don't mind taking a moment right now, subscribe. If you like Landcruisers and Lexuses, that's what I post videos about. Also, you know, some stuff like I'll show you the highest horsepower sedan you can get, about 600 horsepower for 15 grand. I'll be posting a video about that, posting some Porsche videos. So just fun stuff, cool cars. If you have a love of cars, and especially these trucks, that's what I post. Let me show you also another reason to subscribe. I have this truck, FJ40, that's on its way right now. It's somewhere in Massachusetts, making its way to Southern California. Let me show you a picture of it. And if you subscribe, you'll see all postings on this vehicle. So that's the green machine, the FJ40. That'll be here soon. Very excited about that. That FJ40 actually has a 5.7 V8 in it, so it is more than capable. But back to our two vehicles of discussion today. So let's start with the one that came out first, the LX470, also known as the 100 series. That's a 200 series. Headlights. So first and foremost, they meshed the split light into one. You know, a personal preference. It's very elegant, the split. I like the solid light personally. Color-wise, I mean, it came in a whole bunch of different colors, black, silver, white, kind of your traditional colors. That sand, pearl, that kind of beigey, yellowish one. And I'll actually get a wheel. I'll show you what the wheels are supposed to look like on this truck here in a second. I'll get it out when I do a pause. But LED lights in the back in 06, 07, that's when they started doing the LED, which is nice, gives it a super nice look. There's your towing, and it always comes with your connector when it comes with the towing package. I think pretty much all US Lexuses do have the towing package for the most part. So the body has the cladding on the 470s, and they did away with that on the LX570s. Did away with the cladding, so just a clean look there. And one cool feature, a lot of people don't know, underneath the 470, it lights up. And those two strips here, those light up pretty bright. And underneath, let's see, right there, see that bulb? That's what lights up. Now, if you clean those and you put in some LED bulbs, it'll light up super bright, super easy. Just take a Phillips, unscrew, there's 4 of them, 2 on each side. Take out that nasty little 2006 blue, painted blue H5 bulb and put in an LED, and it's such a cool, inexpensive, cheap upgrade to do. All right, let's check out inside of the 470. A lot of people prefer the, when they changed to the 200 series, there's people that were upset because this 470, I mean, it's so nice. You have the little chrome piece in that cladding. It's just so elegant. This is the truck you expect to be driving up to the Opera for valet parking. It's just fancy. Yet, underneath that beautiful clothing of this vehicle, it's capable. Very capable. Came with 2 trims inside, beige and cream. One of the big features, that 3rd row back there. Those seats are removable. They are not removable in the LX570. They're fixed and they're automatic, so you get the creature comforts of a button you can press. Let's crank her over. Okay, that's a cold start. I'm doing this first thing in the morning, and even at that, I am sure the engine is hard to hear. It's such a quiet cabin in these trucks, known for that. Mark Levinson sound system, which it still is in the 570. But as I was mentioning, one of the key things with that 3rd row seat is here, capacity-wise, storage-wise, when you pull out those 2 seats, it gives you a ton of space. In the LX570, you are not pulling those out. You are not getting them out. Unless you're getting them out permanently and removing nuts and bolts and a couple-hour job, and then that's it. So for storage, LX470 actually is better for the back of the truck. So there's the dash for us to compare here in a minute. Height control down there. And to put the automatic height control down, you have to do it manually and up manually. In the LX, I'll show you where you can hit a button and automatically, every time you come to a full stop and put it in park, it will go down to its lowest level. Now, on both of these trucks, it's a hydraulic system. It is not air. So hydraulic is much superior to an air system. Believe me, I have an E55. I'll post a video on that in some time. And I have to change all the struts. And when they go, you're stranded. You can't turn your front wheel. Range Rovers, air suspension, known to have their issues. These trucks, not known to have any issues. Yet, yes, an accumulator can go. Yes, if it's man-made, then it can fail at some point. But for the most part, these suspension systems, I've never had an issue. And I've had these trucks my whole life. So when you lower it to 5 miles an hour, it will automatically go back up. Let's head over to the LX570. But it'll automatically go back up to its normal ride height. And then also, when you lift it, it'll go up 2 inches, and it'll stay at that level up into 20 miles an hour. So these are safety features to get the trucks to the right height. So 20 miles an hour, you can override that with, there's some software you can buy for $50 and wire it in so that it stays high. I wouldn't recommend it. Obviously, there's a reason why they want you to get back to a certain level at 20 miles an hour, because when you're going 70 down the highway. But coincidentally, at 70 miles an hour, it will automatically, both these trucks will automatically lower about an inch. You know, so it's more aerodynamic, and so you get 15.5 miles a gallon instead of 15. So it's being fuel efficient, right? All right, over to the LX570. So this was the big design change. And remember, you know, Honda, you know, some of these other manufacturers, Nissan, Honda, they change their models every 2-3 years constantly. This truck goes from 1998 to 2007. Prior to this truck, the 80 series went from, because it's usually 10 years, approximately 10 years, give or take. The 80 series went from 91 to 97. The 60 and 62 series went from 80 to 90, 10 years. This actually, this size, or body style, I should say, the 200 series is probably the longest running one, besides an FJ40 Landcruiser. But this one has gone from 2008 to present, to 2020, the time of this video. And when you're comparing these two, the market currently on these is, you know, low 20s. And the market on these is high teens. You know, I'm talking about a under 200,000 mile clean model. And what's interesting, obviously the price range on an LX470, yeah, you can find them for $7 grand, $6 grand. If it's a little beaten up and it's more like a 98, 99, 2000, but you're going to get less horsepower. You're going to not have the side airbags. You know, there's differences. So I like the 06, 07 because you're getting the best of the 100 series, and those are the ones that are going to be in the high teens. In the low 20s, so a few thousand more, you're getting this one. 383 horsepower compared to 275 on that 06 LX 470. And the torque is about 400, just under 400 on this one, a 70 pound-feet of torque increase over the LX 470, which is 330 or 332. So let's check inside. Still the lap of luxury inside. A little bit more modernized in the 570, but, you know, to me, creature comforts are a little nicer in the 470, even though it's the older model. You know, the screen didn't get that much bigger. I'd have to say that Lexus was very advanced in its time for its screen. It was a touchscreen back in 2003 when it came out, and it's still the same screen in that 2006. So they were ahead of the curve. Bluetooth connectivity, obviously in this one, but also in that LX 470. In this one, you can load the CD, so no longer you have the sleeve in the center console. Now you're loading the CDs right here, up to 6. But what's cool in this Mark Levinson is you can actually load CDs into a hard drive. It's not huge. I think it's 2 gigabytes, but you know, music shouldn't take up that much room. So I have a whole bunch of songs that I've loaded into this, and I have since lost the CDs. So the day I sell this truck is the day I lose that music. So you can see this one's over 200,000 miles, and I have to say, purring like a kitten. Gray interior. These also had 2 options, gray and beige, and there's the fixed seat. So the seat's the same in the back. However, that's permanently there. That's a permanent fixture. This part I do like a little better. The display, speedometer, all of that, RPMs. It's nice. I think that was a nice change on this vehicle. And I was mentioning, as far as the height control, it's right there. And then now you have 3 options: sport, normal, or comfort. In the LX470, there was 4 options, which obviously you're just going to find your favorite one or favorite 2 and use just those 2 anyways. And then right there, that's the button you press that has this truck automatically lower. That was not an option on the 470. So every time you come to a full stop, put it in park and all doors closed as another safety feature, the car will drop, you know, 2 inches. So the kids can climb in at pickup at school, or If you're taking grandma, grandpa somewhere, the car will lower for ease of entry. And then once you're rolling 5 miles an hour, it'll go right back up. All right. Again, for most, it's preference. You talk to some people and they say, no, the 100 series is the model for me. They don't make them like they used to. And they have a bit of a point, because I think in the 570, they came a little bit more mainstream. You know, maybe some of the components, they were trying to get more profit margin. So it's preference. I like both personally. To me, it's two different vehicles, because when they do the model change, it's not just a facelift in the back or the front or just the dash or the interior. It's the full body. It's that body on frame construction. So these are both super, super safe trucks. But the redesign is exactly that. That's the engineers putting pen to paper and changing everything. The funny thing is, those wheels are 2014. They didn't even have those when this 2008 came out. This 2008 had the 10-spoke wheels, which I have since taken off and replaced it with 22s. You know, and some people say, oh, you put 22-inch wheels on there, oh, the ride's not going to be as good. And in fact, it is just as good if I had, you know, big meaty tires with high sidewalls. Reason being is that automatic height control. But that automatic height control will impede you on your ability to tow. So again, that's a 7,000. Even though they said 8,000 and the Landcruiser's 8,500, they since changed it, if you Google it, and it's now 7,000. And I have talked to someone before who was towing with an LX470. They were probably right on the edge of the max weight, and the automatic height control went into default protection mode, and it self-lowered to the lowest level. So you have to think about not only what you're towing, but how many people you have in the truck, right? If you have 5 adults, that right there is going to be darn near 1,000 pounds if it's, you know, guys. A little less if you got some ladies in that grouping. Okay, let's pop the hoods and check out the engines. Okay, engines popped. Notice that the grille is not connected to the hood on the 570, and it is connected to the hood on the 470. Let's see the 470 first. So it's the 2UZ FE engine. This one's obviously very clean inside. 275 horsepower. So that's why they call it a 470. It's a V8 4.7 liter. And the other one, guess what? It's a 5.7. But that 275 horsepower is a 40 horsepower increase from the 2005 and lower. That was a 235, so this is 275, and you do feel that extra power, absolutely. On the on-ramp or passing a big rig on the 2-lane highway, you feel that power. Now, one thing that is very interesting, it's kind of a best-kept secret that I've mentioned in another video on these trucks, is the engine block. Both of them, V8s, because both these trucks, all LX models, are built in Japan. So, including the Landcruiser V8, any V8 built in Japan, what they do is when they pour that mold, they pour from the bottom up. So they don't just pour it in where it can cause bubbles, they pour it from the bottom up. And in doing so, it reduces the chances of bubbles. But beyond that, they also do an MRI. They do a full scan of that engine block, making sure there's no bubbles and that it meets their quality control. If it doesn't, melt down, start over. If it does, it passes. So the Japanese take their engineering construction very seriously. It's pretty incredible if you start researching that type of thing. And nobody really knows that. Go to the dealership, they are clueless of that. The sales guy, they're trying to keep up on, 20 different models. I don't. I just know this model, so I know my stuff. I do my homework, and no one really knows that fact. So that's one of many reasons why these trucks will go 600,000 miles. So even if you're buying one of these used, like you're considering between a 470 and a 570, well, you can rest assured that this truck, if it's only got, 150, 200,000 miles, it's at its quarter life or third life. You still have so much more miles that you can put on these trucks. They're built to last. So in the 570, they obviously put this on, a little dusty on this truck from a fire road it has driven on recently. So you got to pop all that off to basically get to seeing this. Cabin wise, they're both super quiet, absolutely quiet. And one thing to consider, the LX470 maintenance slightly more, because you got to do your timing belt and water pump, which is behind all this front stuff. So just getting to it, it's a lot of labor. It's about a $400 labor job, and then the parts are about $650 to do the water pump and timing belt every 90,000 miles. In the 200 series, the LX570, they switched to a timing chain. So guess what? You don't have to worry about a chain anymore, like you did the timing belt. So that eliminated one of the repair factors or maintenance requirements. But if you do your timing belt religiously every 90,000, it's not that big of a deal. And you change your water pump at the same time. So there is a water pump in that truck, and that can go. So it doesn't mean you escape the water pump repair. But, you know, water pump, technically, you'll just fix it when it breaks. But when you're doing the timing belt, even if your water pump isn't broken, leaking or having an issue, you're still going to change it because they're in there. They have all the parts off, so you might as well just get it done. All right, well, there you have it. The roof rack on both of these, I've had a Thule on each, and you know, that bar can take 150 pounds, the bars that go across. So I've quickly learned, when I put a Thule with all my ski gear in it, I actually use the Thule bars and attach to the side pieces of the roof rack, not the bars that go across. I should just delete those off. So I use a Thule. So if you're taking heavy stuff, because you'll get that crazy bounce in the wind. You know, I've never had something fall off, but just to be on the safe side, I put the Thule bars across. Way more secure. Oh yeah, I was going to show you the wheel for the LX that comes with the 0607. Let me grab that. Hang on 2 seconds. Et voila. So, minus the cap, that's the wheel that typically comes with this. So same height and everything, just that's an 18 versus the 20-inch I put on there. And again, no compromise in ride with that air suspension. I mean, you could be rolling on rubber bands and it would be still so smooth. So, still a great look with the OEM wheel. Some people take those wheels and put them on the 05 and older models, which gives it a bit of a facelift, just like these 2014 LX wheels definitely gave this truck a beautiful upgrade and fresh look. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos on these trucks and a little bit of off-roading in that green machine, Elsie, that's on her way, that green FJ40. And then other comparison videos. I'll compare a Landcruiser 100 series versus that 200, and also some fun videos with my FJ62. All right, have a great day. Thanks.